Hey everyone, CPO here, and I'm going to run through just a quick couple of topics here on my commute to work this morning. So, first of all, thank all of you for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you're a subscriber to my channel. I'm kind of blown away. I'm going to hit 10,000 subscribers here pretty soon. I'm hoping within the next month. I've been averaging somewhere between 500 to 600 subscribers a month. So if things are trending in the way that they will continue to trend, I will be at 10,000 soon. That's a pretty huge milestone for me. So, you know, everybody's got their goals, and my goal is 10,000. And then my next goal will be, you know, 50,000. But for now, you know, I'm excited to hit 10. And so if you know of anybody who'd be interested in my channel, tell them about it. Have them subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I do have another giveaway coming up for my 03D Jeeps sticker holders. That will be happening, if not today, tomorrow. I know I usually try and do those around the first of the month, but with it being Easter weekend, it was a busy weekend, so I'll get to that soon. Two things I want to talk about. First of all, I had a squeak in my Jeep. It was driving me crazy. Driving down the road at slow speeds, I could hear it chirping like a cricket. Chirp, 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 chirp. Drove me nuts. Actually, was more embarrassing than anything else because I didn't like people hearing a squeak in my Jeep as I rolled through a parking lot. But I figured that out. If you've been following me on social media, you might be keeping up with that. Next topic I'm going to talk about, which I'm going to hit first because it's quick, is Easter Jeep Safari, Easter Jeep Week in Moab. Guys, please be graceful. Be courteous. Be considerate of the fact that almost all of the vendors and manufacturers were in Moab this weekend. So that means they're all coming back now this week, trying to figure out what's going on, checking voicemails and emails. So if you can't get a hold of somebody, if you have a customer service issue, you can't get it figured out, just give them a little bit of grace. Give them a couple of days to sort of get caught up. I'm in the same boat. I'm talking with, I don't want to mention the vendor, but I'm talking with them and trying to figure out, you know, my shipping date of some products I got from them, and it's driving me crazy. But I also know that the guy I've been talking to was out in Moab last week. So I'm considering Monday a wash, like a travel day. And, you know, maybe today I'll check in and see if I can reach him. But anyway, if you're trying to get a hold of somebody, just give it a couple of days to let them get caught back up. That's the one thing I have to say. All right, so back to my chirp. Man, it was driving me crazy. Chirp, 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 chirp. And I probably did like a lot of you guys do. I'm like YouTubing, you know, Jeep will chirp, Jeep will squeak, you know, squeaky tires, you know, all that stuff. I felt like it was coming from the passenger side. I wasn't 100% sure. I thought it was coming from the back, but I wasn't 100% sure. So anyway, I decide, you know, one day I had a couple hours. I decided to go ahead and jack up the back end of the wheel, turn it, you know, wiggle it, shake it, try and figure out where my squeak is. And lo and behold, I didn't find it. So then I moved to the front wheel and I jack it up and I wiggle and squeak and I'm like, oh, little squeak. I'm like, I found it. Narrowed it down to I think a rusty, just, you know, corrosion covered U-joint in the front axle. I don't think the U-joint is bad itself, but I think the rust that's built up on the cap and in the ears of the axle, I think was just causing a little bit of noise. And so I just put a little squirt of WD-40 on the outside of the U-joint just to see if that fixed it, and lo and behold, the squeak stopped. Then I get back in the Jeep and I drive down the road, super happy, and it's squeaky. Well, I did fix a squeak, but it wasn't the squeak I was hearing. So back to the drawing board on that. I had my son drive, and I'm literally hanging on the side of the Jeep off my both side sliders and listening, and it's definitely the back wheel. Okay, got it. So went and pulled that wheel off again, started poking around, and what I found is the little spring clips for my brake pads on the caliper one of them, actually two of them, were loose, like you could wiggle them. And eventually I got to a point where I could wiggle it and it would squeak. Squeak, squeak, squeak. And I'm like, that is it. So I have Dynatrack brakes. They're fairly, I mean, I'm going to have to change them in the next couple of months. They're less than a year old, but I have Dynatrack, the Pro Grip big brake kit. So it's their Dynatrack pads, their brake hardware, their brake adapter, or the caliper bracket, depending on how you want to call it. And so anyway, what I did is I took that apart and I basically flexed it open to widen it, and then it would spring back in and hold tight. And I also took some brake caliber lubricant, specifically designed for the high heat environments, and I put a little bit of that on there, and yeah, squeak went away on that side. There was another squeak, and there was one. It was on the driver's side rear, same exact thing. I knew exactly now what it was. So pulled off the rear tire, and lo and behold, one of those spring clips was loose. I actually pulled it off and looked at it, and the underside, the side that actually mates against the brake caliper adapter, was shiny, like polished shiny. So there's the first clue. If you've got something squeaking and you see a really shiny spot, more than likely that's where your squeak is, because that's shiny because it's rubbing back and forth and it's polishing itself. So anyway, did the same thing, spread out the spring clip, added a little bit of brake caliper grease just to lubricate things a little bit, and put it all back together. I have 0 squeaks. So I'm super happy about that. That was really embarrassing. I do not like squeaks, and I know there are always going to be random squeaks and bumps and jiggles and things like that that you're going to have to deal with. But that one was driving me crazy because, and when I get going on the road, I can't hear it, right? I got the exhaust, I got wind noise, I got all that stuff happening, but it's driving slow. I'm like, oh, stop. I feel like people are staring at me. So anyway, if you have a squeak, try and narrow it down to which tire. Again, I thought it was the rear, and I wiggled and all that stuff, the tire, trying to figure out if I could find it, spinning it, couldn't make it happen. Some things only happen under load or under weight or under certain conditions. But once you figure out the tire, start looking at the obvious things that are loose or whatever. So, but specifically, if you have a recurring or a rhythmic chirp, kind of like a cricket, chirp, 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 and it speeds up, and when you hit the brakes or push the brake pedal in, it goes away. Check those spring clips on your calipers. That's exactly what my problem was. So anyway, those are the two things I wanted to talk about this morning as I head to work. I just want to say again, thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe. You can hit the bell when you subscribe. That will give you notifications if you want to make sure you don't miss any of my videos. And I'm doing the giveaway for Extreme Terrain $50 gift card today or tomorrow, I promise. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.